Okay, so normally I just spitball it and I just talk, but the next 10 things that I want to talk about, I have my talking points, and I'm going to stick close to them because I believe that they are super important. Um, as you know, cancer and everything has a lot of conspiracies, has a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and it's really hard, right, to sift through what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And you may find something that makes sense, but then your doctor tells you that doesn't make sense, and it just feels like this toxic circle of word salad and confusion. So, two things about that. And again, all of this is based on my reality and my experience, and take it or leave it. But at the end of the day, you have to choose what is right for you. And that is what you consume, what you believe, all of those things. So I'm a big advocate for critical thinking, and to properly be able to critical think, you need to have information. And in this day and age, there's no like want for information, right? It's almost like we have information overload. So before we get into everything, just, basics. You can't get all your information from Instagram videos. Yes, it can be the catalyst to make you want to investigate something further, make you aware of something further. But like, you have to go deeper than that, right? Like, remember back in school when we had to like cite our sources and go to the library, and like my mom had the whole encyclopedia thing. So there's more levels to it. It's more than just throwing it into ChatGPT. It's more than just going on YouTube. It's just more than that, right? And that's all I want to say is just trust yourself, do the research, but truly do it, right? And don't look to other people to tell you what it is. Listen to what they say. Like, you may like me, you may believe what I'm saying, but please go do your own research, right? Don't take my word for it. And I think that that's what the issue with the way the world is today is, that we just hear a source because we like them for whatever reason, we believe them for whatever reason, and then that becomes law, that becomes facts, and that's just not it, right? So please, 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 don't take my word for it. Dig down, research it yourself. And researching it means research both sides, all sides of it. Just going and finding information that justifies and validates what you think you already know or what you want to believe, and for what you want to be fact, is not research. It is not critical thinking. It's just literally finding an echo chamber, right? And then be like, oh, I know I was right. Well, of course, because you just went and only asked the one side and the one thing. So again, I'm sharing my 10 talking points with all of that in mind. And, I also implore you to look into what critical thinking is, right? It's not a buzz term that's been polarized in the media. Like, truly look into it. And that is one thing that I am super grateful for. I think I've always had my whole life, but I went to school at the new school, and that was a huge, huge, huge thing that, I took away from that school, was critical thinking. And anyway, so I'm going to get into my 10 talking points. Um, and basically, what inspired this was, I was walking back from the market thinking, why do I make the choices that I make in the market? Where do I get my meat? Where do I get my eggs? What soap do I use? What do I store my foods in? All of those things came down from the diagnosis. Once I got home from hearing I had cancer, I came in here and I was like, what is it? And let's be honest, cancer isn't from just any one thing. It's, in my opinion, that it is something that is cumulative, and it can be genetic. I don't have genetic markers for any cancers. It can be, trauma trapped in the body. I have that. I do believe that. It can be a misbalance of masculine and feminine energy, which can also be looped into trauma, and, the body keeps the score. I do believe all of that. And again, there's plenty of books that you can research for that. The Body Keeps a Score, Gabe Mete, The Myth of Normal. Great books. So I'm going to dive into that because the interesting thing about chemo, one chemotherapy treatment, albeit long and toxic and all the things, wasn't and isn't enough to cause all of the things that happen at the end, right? All of the treatment is cumulative. Cumulative means over time, right? So over time, throughout chemo and throughout radiation, I became tired. The first day, sure, I was tired, but then the next few days, I got my energy back, right? Because I just had one treatment. Cumulative. I'm harping on this word because I want you to be able to stay with me. Cumulative, over time. So a month in, 2 months in, my body, cumulatively speaking, has far more in it than it did on day one. Do you agree? I would imagine you would agree. And if you're disagreeing, I think that's for other reasons. Cumulative, over time. So if you can take that same way of thinking and that ability to think cumulatively, what about the things in our environments around us? Everyone says, oh, no, it doesn't matter. Hormone disruptors, all these things, endocrine disruptors in our food, in our, cleaning things in our pots and pans. It doesn't matter. But cumulatively speaking, why wouldn't it matter, right? So if over time things build up and create a toxicity in the body, why wouldn't that be true for everyday products that we use? Why wouldn't it be true for the makeup, for the soap, for the lotion, for the fragrance, for drinking water out of plastic bottles? Why wouldn't that be true? Why would it be true in chemo but not true in anything else? So hopefully I still have you with me. So with that in mind, I'm going to go through my 10 talking points and hopefully keep this video at a digestible length, but I do think it's extremely important. So my talking point number 1, hormone disruptors are everywhere, and most people don't even know, myself being one of them until my cancer diagnosis. You don't have to have cancer or a diagnosis for this to matter. These chemicals are in our homes, our water, our makeup bags, our laundry rooms, and our kitchens. And they affect everyone, women, men, and children, quietly and cumulatively. Right? I think we can all agree on that. And different ways that you can further investigate this is start at Google and ask, what are hormone disruptors? What are their names? What are their causes? What do they do? And don't tell me that the FDA approves this and approves that and you trust the government. That is crazy. You may be looking at me like I'm crazy, but it's crazy to give your future, give yourself to an entity that has zero benefit whether you live or die. Okay? I'm going to keep it straight with you. The government does not care if you live or if you die. In fact, they make money off of both. Okay? Moving on. Number 2, endocrine disruptors. Separate. So you have hormone disruptors, endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors mimic or block your natural hormones. Let that sit with you for a minute. Endocrine disruptors mimic or block your natural hormones. They interfere with estrogen, testosterone, thyroid function, metabolism, fertility, and even how your cells repair themselves. Your hormones are internal messaging system. When that system is disrupted long term, the body struggles to regulate everything. So think about that for a second. If you have endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors, which you do, in your laundry detergent, in your makeup, in your lotion that you're putting on your body every day, in your mattress, all these things, cumulatively speaking, in your food, in your water, what is going to happen. If you're having trouble getting pregnant, could it be any one of these things? Sure. Could it be the body keeping the score? Sure. So I hope you are starting to see the connection here that I'm trying to make. 3, cancer doesn't just appear. Environment matters. Cancer is rarely caused by one single thing. It is the cumulative of exposure over years. What you absorb, inhale, eat, wash with, cook on, sleep in. We can't control everything, but we can control a lot more than we think, right? So knowledge is power, and the moment you know better, we should be doing better, right? So what can you do? You can start reading everything that you're consuming and making smarter, better choices. And again, I get it, we're busy, things are expensive, but so is cancer. I'm gonna tell you, my bills were crazy. Had insurance, but I saw them all, right? So it's all in how you want to pay for it. You want to pay for it up front, or you want to pay for it on the back end. I don't think that we should be cheap when it comes to that. And I think we need to be extremely aware and cautious of what we're feeding our children, right? They're growing, they're developing, they're far more susceptible. If you shut off estrogen or testosterone while your child is developing, what are some things that could happen? That's for you to answer. I know my answers, and I've done my thinking, and I have plenty of it. Ideas and thoughts and opinions. I want you to start learning how to question yourself and question why you do what you do, and why you feed yourself and your children what you feed them, and what could possibly be correlating, right? Is there certain things that they eat and then their behavior is a certain way? I don't know. Talking point number 4, what you put on your skin goes into your body. Your skin is the largest organ. Your skin absorbs ingredients directly into the bloodstream. If you wouldn't drink it, you probably shouldn't rub it all over your body every day. So go into your cabinet, pull up the lotion that you're using, and put the ingredients into Google, into ChatGPT, however you want to do it. Read them and go down the rabbit hole of each one of them. And then maybe you choose, fuck it, I don't care, I want to do what I want to do. YOLO, that's your choice. My main thing is people understanding and having the choice, and then they can choose, right? Number 5, your laundry detergent and fabric softeners stay on your clothes. The chemicals don't wash off, they stay in the fibers and sit on your skin 24/7. Fragrances, dyes, SLSs, phthalates, these are known endocrine disruptors, and you're inhaling them and absorbing them without realizing it. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole with you here. I implore you to go do some digging, and I am pretty sure you will probably start to change what you wash your clothes in. You may also, this is even on here, probably want to start to look at the fibers that you're choosing to be in and live in. For me, I have trying to switch everything over to linen or cotton. These leggings are something I probably should not be wearing, quite frankly. I've had them on today, and not great. But an example of, it is what it is at sometimes. Talking point number 6, your cookware matters more than people think. Non-stick pans, cheap plastics, and old cookware can leach PFAS, forever chemicals, microplastics, and carcinogens into your food. PFAS are linked to thyroid dysfunction, fertility issues, immune disruption, and cancers, especially breast cancer. Let that sit with you. I don't know, for the beginning of my childhood, my grandmother only cooked on cast iron skillet. Then non-stickware came out, and that's what we had, right? all the way through up until probably I was diagnosed. And then that's when I changed all my pots and pans out. So whatever, however you want to think about it, whatever you want to do, I just implore you to stick with that. PFAS are linked to thyroid dysfunction, fertility issues, immune disruption, and cancers, especially breast cancer. Number 7, cleaning products can quietly shift your whole hormonal landscape. Glass cleaners, all-purpose sprays, air fresheners, disinfectants, the synthetic fragrances and solvents, and many of them can be estrogenic or endocrine disrupting. What you spray in your home becomes the air you breathe. Have you ever gotten into an Uber and they have whatever that, fragrances that they chose, and you got an instant headache? That lasted far long after you got out of their car. That is literally what I'm talking about in action. It wasn't just you got a headache because blah blah blah. No, it's because it's messing with you. It's not safe. It's not good. So pay attention to that. Read all of those things. Listen to your body. Your body's telling you. When I get into an Uber, if that's like that, I roll the windows down immediately. And if it's a long ride, I may cancel and get someone else, because that is going to make you sick. And that also takes, the same for candles and all those things. I'm not going to go down brands. I don't want to get sued, but, pay attention, do your research. Number 8, soy is in almost everything, and most people don't realize it. Soy isn't just tofu. It's in processed foods, in protein bars, dressings, oils, snacks, supplements, and even in the vegetable oil restaurants cook with. For people with estrogen-sensitive histories or hormone-dependent cancers, this matters. It's not fear, it's awareness. So as you start to consume and eat, I want you to read the labels. And I want you to not freak out, but become so aware of how much soy is in everything. I hear people say, oh, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. It actually does matter if it's in every single thing that you're consuming, whether you realize it or not, right? It's one thing to have 1 cup of soy milk. Like, I used to drink soy milk all the time growing up because I am lactose intolerant. So I had soy. Now I'm thinking back, was it, my breast cancer induced because I drank soy for like a decade and had birth control pills? So that's my point. All of these things cumulatively with other things on top of them, right? I'm not talking about having tofu once in a while or having a glass of soy milk. I'm talking about the fact that it is in every single thing. The fact that it is fed to chickens, and then you eat the chicken and eat the egg. It's fed to cattle. So you see what I'm saying? It is in everything. So it actually does matter. And it may be exhausting, and that may be fine. You may decide, I don't want to know, I don't care, it's too much for me. That's great, and that's your choice. But again, I'm going back to everyone should have the right to understand and should understand what is, truly going on, so they can make the right decisions for themselves and their family, and especially their children. Number 9, we're almost to the end, stick with me. Natural doesn't always mean safe. Read labels. Marketing is amazing. Marketing is propaganda. So we use certain words, certain labels, then that makes us as consumers think, oh, this is amazing, this is perfect. But if you go and look at it, it's bullshit. So marketing is powerful. Green, clean, plant-based do not mean non-toxic. Learn to look for ingredients like parabens, phthalates, PFAS, synthetic fragrance, SLS, SLES, oxybenzone, BHT, BHA, trilosane. Empowerment starts with reading the back of the bottle, not the front. There is an amazing app called Yuka and many others. I say Yuka because that's what I found, and I scan everything. And ultimately, you don't even need an app, right? If you go to the store and you turn over the label and there's something that you've never heard of before, it's probably not okay, right? Like, you shouldn't be eating processed foods. I get it. It's easy. It's fast. It's this. It's that. It's fucking up your gut microbiome. And there's connections that are being discovered every day that the gut is really where the health is. So that can be another video, and that's also something for you to maybe jot down and have a little fun going down a rabbit hole about that. I'm not giving you anything that I haven't looked in and don't look into regularly. So read the labels. If you can't pronounce it, or there's just too many ingredients that are not eggs, sugar, flour, things, basic things that you can know that God made, that, you can grow or, pick yourself, I'd probably put it back, And again, if you want to, no judgment. But again, I believe that you should have the knowledge. And the last point I want to make in this video, you don't have to change everything at once. Start with the daily exposures. Swap products that you use every single day, because those that have because those are the ones that have the biggest cumulative effect. Laundry detergent, body wash and skincare, cookware, cleaning products, plastic versus glass storage. Small changes add up. This isn't about fear, it's about reducing the burden on your body so your hormones, your nervous system, your metabolism, and your cells do what they were designed to do. You are an incredible being that was made by God, by the universe, by source. You are a walking miracle. Everything your body needs, it was designed to do and take care of. So what we need to do living in our modern world is to be better about it, to be smarter about it. Obviously, this iPad is probably emitting a ton of radiation. Not probably, it is, right? And I'm here, I'm using it because this is the world we live in. So we have to find and strike balances. Like you're never gonna be, there's times you're never gonna be perfect. And there's times where I really consider moving away to a farm and just leaving the world behind and just doing that and living in peace. Think about that at least once a week. So if there is a handsome man out there that runs a farm, drop me, no, I'm just kidding, slightly, note in the comments, kidding, slightly. But anyway, getting back to the point of this whole video is knowledge is power. We're not going to be fearful. We're going to be empowered, and we're going to move throughout our day and our life, and we're going to be in control of the choices that we make, right? You can choose what you clean your house in. You can choose what we slather on our bodies and our children's bodies, right? There's a lot of people that are putting Vaseline, petroleum, all over their bodies, in their mouth, because it's on their lips, on their children, all these things. Just because a doctor says it's okay doesn't make it so. It's just not true. So I think that the more knowledge that we all have, the better decisions we can make. And in the end, if you choose to continue to do what you do, even after knowing what you know, that's perfectly fine. I haven't, whatever you want. But I just think that it's important that we learn as a whole to do that, and to stop thinking that other people outside of ourselves have our best interests. They do not. And if you believe that, you are extremely naive. No one has your best interests other than you, So thank you for the privilege of your time. Again, if there's any other topics, as I'm getting warmed up in this, and as I feel moved, certain things just come to me, and then I'm like, go get this filmed, get this out there. So thank you for your time, and have a lovely evening or morning whenever you're watching this.